PlayStation 5, let me show you what's going on. And as you can see, we have a little bit of carnage going on here. Somebody broke off the port and took with it several pads and the 4K capacitor. The first thing I'm going to need to do is low melt these holes so that A, we can get these broken anchors out, and B, we can clean them up easier. In order to do that, I will need my equipment, and while I'm setting up my equipment, I will throw up my expected temperatures for this job. These temperatures are brought to you by the Amazon associate links in the description. If you head to my video description and click on one of these links and buy any of this equipment, or if you buy anything during that session, a small portion of that purchase will go to supporting the channel. And I greatly appreciate you. It won't cost you an extra dime. We'll begin by adding flux. The flux is also in the description under consumables. Now we're going to flood these anchors with low melt. There we go. Very nice. We can better see the work we need to do. With a ball of solder on the tip using our WXP micro pencil, we'll just run the ball over the pad. Now it's time to bring out one of my favorite tools and yours, the grinding pin. Now we'll need to tin our runways. And for this I'll be using our Pico pencil, also in our description. I'll be using jumper wire. I'll be using my black Ineasies to manipulate the wire. They are the best tweezers I've found for doing jumpers. So good, in fact, that I exclusively use them for that. I need to make sure this one gets routed correctly. That'll work. This one we can route straight down. That's nice. So this one will require some routing. More or less want a dead center with the pad so that we make good contact with the pin. Those are critical ones. Next thing we need to do is clean it off, then apply some solder mask. We will clean these off with care. We're just brushing in one direction. We don't want to scrub back and forth. We need most of the flux out of there so it does not mix and mingle with our solder mask. Looking good. Now we'll apply some solder mask. The solder mask is for securing the jumper in place. When we flow our port in, the solder will wet, but this will ensure that the jumpers don't float out of place. You need a really good cure on this stuff. We're ready for a cure. I am going to set my UV lamp on top of this and then walk away for about 5 or 10 minutes and let it cure. Checking to make sure everything looks solid. Very good. I think the next thing we're going to contend with is the 4K capacitor. Might as well get it out of the way before we get the port on. These are super tiny. We're going to drop down to a 20% airflow to flow this guy in. And right into place. Lovely. Do a little bit of prep to our wires. I'm going to scrape off the enamel. This will make them receive the solder a little quicker than having to burn it off. It's also a good stress test for your cure. And switching to our micro pencil, we'll again put a ball of solder on the tip and we'll dab it onto our wires. Hopefully our wires will not get sucked up into the iron. If they did, we did not get a good enough cure, but everything is tinned up nicely. Excellent. Add some flux to our port and we're going to pre-tin. Excellent. I'm now using my typical method of warming up the board enough to wet the solder. I am going to flow the port into place. We accomplish this by moving the air rapidly. We're not keeping it in any one place too long or long enough to burn plastic. Typically, sometimes you'll singe the black, plastic a little bit. We're concentrating in on the pins. This method does take a little bit of patience, but I found this method to be very effective, especially with PS5 ports and that 4K capacitor being so close to the pins. And press down and remove our heat. We continue holding the port down until we see the pads dry. Very good. So my main concern here, as it looks like we pretty much have nice fillets on the rest of the pins, is my jumper ones. And what you want to see is the jumper move with the pin. And in that case, we are attached. And in this case, we are attached. And this one could use a little bit of help. Everything else looks excellent, so we need to deal with that one jumper. We've applied a little bit of solder to our tip. And what we'd like to do is get attachment there. Maybe that'll be enough. That's all the connection we really need. Do not let perfection be the enemy of progress. And taking another look, that jumper is connected quite soundly now. Excellent. Let's secure it in place by soldering our anchors. And for this, we'll be switching to our WX120 with a large chisel so we can get good heat transfer. That is excellent. That's exactly what we want to see. I hope this video is being helpful to you in your repair journey. Just a reminder, if this is something beyond what you want to try yourself, I do offer these services. Just head over to micromage.repair, click free quote, fill out the form, and I'll get back to you personally. Final inspection, everybody's connected, everything's looking good. Our 4K capacitor back on. Time to take it back to the shop and let them deal with the rest. If you got value from this video, I think you'll get value from this one too. I'll see you there.